with Beth today. So today what's going down is I wanted to make an Italian vegetable beef stew, and that requires a 14.5-ounce can of stewed tomatoes that I don't have. But guess what I do have? Yeah! Plenty of fresh tomatoes. So I am going to take some of my tomatoes, I'm going to core them and score the back, and I'm just gonna stick them into some boiling water and then into an ice bath and peel them. And then I'm just gonna put them all back into the pot without the boiling water and stew them for 30 minutes. And then I will have stewed tomatoes, fresh off the vine, ready for the vegetable beef stew.
That's what we're having?
That's what we're having for dinner tonight. So we're gonna use some mushrooms and our long beans, and garlic, and some beef.
And these are our tomatoes from Little Acorn Farm.
Yes, indeedy they are.
We have really harvested a lot. And as you
It
see
takes
over
a lot
there,
though. It takes a lot of tomatoes to make.
I should zoom in on the melons. Look at the melons sitting over there, guys. And they are ripe. I mean, you come downstairs and you can smell them.
Yeah, as soon as you walk downstairs.
It's good stuff. So, okay. I guess we will be back at the next phase.
Next phase will be when I start making the stew.
All right. Keep coring. We'll be back.
Coring and scoring. Welcome back, guys. So, the tomatoes are a stewing.
A stewing.
They smell so good too. So now I'm just gonna prep my veg for everything that goes into this vegetable beef stew. So we're gonna use, I've got my sirloin here. It's a little gray. There was water in the package somehow. It got a little waterlogged. I'm gonna let it dry out a little bit before I chop it up. I'm gonna go ahead and do my mushrooms, one yellow bell pepper, some of my Chinese long beans. Look how long these are. Aren't they cool?
They're so delicious, though.
They are absolutely delicious.
That definitely is a repeat for Little Acorn Farm.
And it looks like we're gonna get a second harvest too. I took a bunch of them out. And then an onion. So, laundry's ready.
Okay, so if you guys all know what that sound is.
So I'll come back
And you always know what that is because that's the ever-present Bentley.
Oh my gosh, thank God this isn't professional.
Right? How many outtakes would we have? Probably 30.
Take 15.
No, you guys, you're just gonna have to deal with it because I don't have time for all that editing. And we have been gone for a while, so we apologize for that. We'll come back and explain why, but we got in a little bit of an accident.
We're okay.
We're okay.
Mostly.
Ish. Got some physical therapy for a little while. Not our fault, thank goodness. But we'll explain that at some other time. But we are back. We're cooking. Definitely still gardening. Light duty though. Doctor's orders.
Yeah. But so yeah, I'm just gonna do a bunch of chopping, and I want to get all this done before I ever start what goes into the pot and get it all done before the tomatoes are done a stewing.
How long does it take for them to stew?
I'm gonna stew them for about 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And
And what's the total dish called?
this is an Italian vegetable beef stew.
And that's the title you'll see.
That's the title.
Okay. So we'll be back. Make sure you guys come back. Beth likes to continue really quickly, so I have to stop her
chopping.
and pause her, but
I gotta chop.
I'll come back at the next phase. I'll try to. Anyway, wait, I'm going to stop. She's got a knife. We'll be back.
So I finished chopping my mushrooms, but I wanted to come back and mention why there is a big paper sack sitting next to me, and it's because it's what I store my mushrooms in when I get them back from the store after I've opened them. Because if I just put them into plastic zipper bag, the moisture collects in there. This way with the paper, they don't stay, they stay moist, but they don't get moisture. So it keeps them from getting any mold or mildew or anything on them. And I just wrap them up and I throw them into the fridge. And it's just a cool way to keep them a little bit longer and extend their stay a little bit more.
Okay.
Hey guys, I just wanted to go through this with you. So I've got peppercorns and fennel seeds in here. I don't know if you can see that.
There you go.
There you go. Peppercorns and fennel seeds, just a 1/4 teaspoon of each.
Okay.
But this was just a cool thing. I know I used to have a little mini food processor that I used to do grind my herbs in, but since then that broke. I got this and I love it. It takes a little bit of manpower, but you just crush up the seeds in here. And there's a couple different ways to do it, but I feel like all caveman-y and stuff. But I like to do this, I'll make rugs and stuff in here. And it doesn't take but a hot minute. But you just grind it up to a pulp. And there it is. And I'll add it later so you can see it in here.
Bam.
Just wanted to show you that. I thought it was cool.
Okay. We'll be black.
Okay, we've got veg cut. Garlic is now peeled. Love the smell of garlic.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh garlic. The herbs have been crushed, by the way. I had to add some Italian herbs, which is just a dry mix of, it's got oregano, marjoram, basil, rosemary, and I just went ahead and ground them up in there. Now I'm gonna cut my sirloin, and we just wanna make sure it's super lean. So I'm gonna trim some of this fat that's on here off and keep it as lean as possible. And then I'm just gonna cut them into cubes so that I can brown them. And I'll brown those off and then take them out of the pan. Cook the veg, add everything back in, and let it stew together. So this is a pretty lean cut of sirloin, so I'm not taking a ton of stuff off, but I just wanted to let you know that you want it as lean as possible. You're gonna add fat back in when you're cooking your vegetables, and when you're browning your meat, just a little bit of, we'll use some olive oil. Good olive oil, by the way. All right, I think that's pretty good. This really didn't have that much fat on it. So now I'm just gonna cube it. There we go. So you guys understand that it's because it's gray on the outside. It got waterlogged.
We always hear these rumors about them that they add color to meat, and I don't know how much of a truth there is to all of that.
There definitely is to some of the fish, right? So they do add color to salmon and tuna, and that's just to.
Yeah, I
It's
know
for
about
the
tuna. If your tuna's not, let me say it the opposite way, because I used to work for a tuna fish company, so I know tuna. If your tuna is pink, it's not fresh, and it's been frozen with like a nitrogen. The darker, you want like a blood red tuna. And, you know, I'm not sponsored by these guys in any way, shape, or form, but Costco has a really good seafood program. Their seafood is really fresh, and their tuna, when I've gone in there, it is sashimi grade. And I know that because I used to work for a tuna fish company, like I said. I like to repeat myself.
Is it that, or you just like to hear yourself talk, or you just want to pat
I really don't like to hear myself talk, honestly. It's one of those things, I hate my voice back
You
on a
just want to be right,
recording.
though. You know when you're right, and you want to let people know you know.
I usually am.
Except when I'm right.
Well, that's when you have to accept, gentlemen, that the wife is always right. Pick your battles.
Hey, happy spouse, happy house. I heard that one today.
Well, I'm a spouse too, so that's
That's what
not.
I'm
So that's
saying.
not really technically that's incorrect because it's happy wife, happy life. Don't be miss. What is it?
I don't know where you're going with that one.
I don't know.
But that's why I was trying
Misled. Don't be misled.
to... Alexa, stop. That means my tomatoes are done stewing.
Oh,
Shall we take a look together?
guess we should take a look.
Don't know what it is. Oh, there they are. You're standing in front of them. A little silicone gloves. Ready? Yes.
From Little Acorn Farm to the pot.
Stewed maters.
Farm to table.
I love it. So I'm just gonna leave them lid off. I'm gonna sit them in the back. I'm gonna let them finish cooling off. I am not rendering these down at all. I'm leaving all that liquid in there that they rendered off. Because we're not making sauce, we're having stewed tomatoes. So I will let those be. Yay! Turned out good. Smells. Oops. Fogged up my own glasses. All right, back to the meat. I'm just gonna finish cutting these off.
Well, you see what you're doing? We'll be back.
Hey guys, we're back.
Meat.
Meat searing
It's meat time. Why is that so exciting in our house?
So I do have a little bit of olive oil down here. I'm just gonna throw out, I put a little salt and pepper on the meat. I'm just gonna sit here, get a,
Ooh, ouch, ouch, ouch.
that's what they're saying. And get these all laid
Don't
out.
try this at home.
We are home.
So this was, I think we've talked about this before, these little Dutch ovens that we got. Like, we got these at Costco for $69 in a set of 2. And Beth uses these a ton.
A ton.
Like you saw, she stewed the tomatoes.
In the one.
Now you're,
Still. Stewed tomatoes.
and now we're searing meat.
Searing meat. And we're gonna actually cook the entire rest of the dish in here. So I have it at a pretty high heat. It's medium high. And I'm just gonna go ahead and let it brown up a little bit, because obviously we're not gonna cook it through. And then I'm gonna let them sit until I'm sure this side has already got a little bit of brown on it. Then I'm gonna start flipping them.
When do the peppers and all that go in?
That'll go in after. So this will get browned and come out. I'm gonna set it aside. Yeah. And then we're going to play with all of our mushrooms and onions and garlic and peppers and slowly add those in. And at the last minute, the last 2 things that will go back in will be the meat and the green beans. So.
And how long is this process going to take?
Probably a total of 25 minutes by the time. Depends on how long it takes to get.
But it sounds to me like one of those dishes that the longer it kind of steeps, the more flavorful it actually gets.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
But we really do. We want this meat to cook off quickly, so it just browns on every side. Let's see if we got a little bit of brown yet. See, browning. So we'll let that brown off, and then I'll pull it out, and we'll come back when I start on the bed. See you soon. All right, it's vegetable time. We're gonna start with the mushrooms. I'm gonna add my onions and my garlic, which I haven't pressed yet, so. Oh yeah. So we have it browning. It's all in the same pan. I haven't added or taken anything away. Because what we want the mushrooms to do is pick up on that flavor from the meat browning. So there's nothing else getting added in here. So what's gonna happen, I know it looks super dry, but
I was gonna say that.
yeah, so what's gonna happen is my onions are gonna start to break down and release, as well as my mushrooms, and they have a lot of moisture in both of them. So that'll add to the liquid. So it's gonna help them brown because there's not a lot of liquid in it right now. And then once there is more liquid in it, it's gonna help pick up some of the bits and pieces and the browning from when we brown the meat.
I like your apron.
Thank you, Amazon.
You're lucky I'm not over there grabbing those chunks of sirloin. Who uses sirloin for stew?
Well, what happened
It's
was,
supposed to be chuck.
what happened was, I needed to use some stuff in the fridge, i.e. the mushrooms and the green beans, and so I decided I would find something that I thought
What
would,
you doing there?
I'm grating.
What are you doing?
I'm crushing my garlic in my garlic press. This is one of those good grip ones. It's very easy to use, but fresh press. I also
How come you're not using the minced garlic that we got from Costco?
I was about to say I also use the minced garlic from Costco, but because it's such a large jar, it's at the very end, and my spoon doesn't fit to the bottom of it, so I have to find a way
Oh, okay.
to get it out. But for right now,
How long before the peppers go in?
so this is gonna go until, see how we're starting to get
A little bit of
some
juice.
liquid out of it.
Okay.
So this will go for until my mushrooms are almost cooked all the way through. So we've got a few more minutes left. Looks like the side of my pot is a little warmer. I'm gonna turn this around.
Okay.
So we'll go until that, and then we'll start adding the rest of the vegetables. At least we need to get right. So you're gonna go with what takes the longest to cook, and how do you want it to end up. So for an onion, you definitely want it cooked through because you don't want that bite in a stew. So we're gonna wait until our onions are nice and translucent. Mushrooms, we want them to absorb because they basically absorb whatever you put with them. So we want them to absorb all the leftovers from the juices that we cook the sirloin with. And then after all that's done, then we can start adding additional flavors. So we'll wait for all that to cook down, and then we'll start adding the flavor profile.
Okie dokie. Come on back. Don't miss out.
So these guys are almost ready. What we're gonna do to help deglaze the pan, which means just grab all the rest of those yummy bits. We're gonna deglaze it with a little bit of red wine. That's a quarter cup. And some good balsamic vinegar. It's about a tablespoon.
Where'd you get that?
Yes, this is my Gabby's Olive Branch 18-year aged balsamic.
So if you're local, these folks are located on Bethelview Road off of exit 13, heading more towards Cumming. Great group of people. We have not met the owners as of yet, but we will. But they've got olive oils, they've got infused vinegars that you gotta check it out.
It's really some of
It'll really
great
add to your cooking.
flavors.
Yeah, it'll add to
I
your
love the
cooking.
flavors. Okay, so we're gonna give this a minute, literally 1 minute, and then we're going to start adding in. Well, actually, I'm only going to add in my yellow peppers because we want them to cook down for a minute. Then we get to start adding in the good stuff. The beef broth, the tomatoes.
Looks yummy.
It smells amazing.
It really does smell amazing. I wish you guys could smell this. It's absolutely beautiful.
that red wine. What red wine? What are we drinking? It's a Josh. Or no, Liberty School, right? This is the wine I added in. A Cabernet, Liberty School. It's good.
That is a good one. That's a staple in the house.
It's like an everyday one. So we're letting these guys go. Then we get to start adding in the rest. So we'll let the peppers go for a minute, but all we're trying to get them to do is kind of soak up some of that flavor.
When do you add the stewed tomatoes, or don't you?
I do. So I'm going to do that right after I add the beef broth. So we need, it said 28 ounces of beef broth. So this is 32. I'm going to just add most of it.
Close enough. I gotta imagine some of it'll cook off.
A lot of it will cook off, but I'm only going to add a portion of my stewed tomatoes. So that's not going to work. It's the best way to do this. Ooh, a coffee cup. Why not? This happens to be a really deep coffee cup. There we go.
Whatever works, people. You don't always have to have like the professional utensils, obviously.
And I'm a little bit of a gadget geek, but when it comes to soups and stews, you're just kind of going with the flow. I'm gonna get this up to a boil. Turn it up. Let's get it up to a boil. Then I'm gonna turn it back down. Add my herbs that I had mortar and pestle earlier. I'm gonna let it go for about 10 minutes. And then I'm gonna add my beef and my green beans. And then we're gonna let it go for another 8 minutes, hopefully. And we'll be ready to eat, so come on back. I got it. All right, no, being serious. So I added the herbs that I had crushed up before. Everything's at a nice rolling boil. I'm gonna go ahead and add my beef that we browned up earlier. Oh, last but not least, some lovely green beans. These are just my long beans I cut up
From
the garden.
Little Acorn Farm.
Look, it doesn't seem like there's enough. I might need to add some more. So, at this point, it was at a rolling boil. I'm going to take this down to a simmer. And this is going to go for 15 minutes. And then we'll come back. Should be done. Yay! Guess what time it is?
It's the final phase.
It's the reveal.
The reveal.
Let's see.
How long has this been on?
So I had it on for 15 minutes. I stirred it and I wanted it to go a little bit longer, so I put it in for another 15 minutes, but oh my goodness, it smells so good. I wish y'all could smell it. So I totally get, if you wanted to, you could add some potatoes to this, or if you wanted to plate it over rice. Oh my gosh.
Too many carbs.
Too many carbs. Oh my gosh, Keith, this looks so good.
It's
Right.
good. Mine's gonna have to cool down for about a day.
It's really hot.
Like, my God.
But hold on, let me scoop mine out and then I'm gonna taste it. So I tasted it a little bit earlier. I am a very salty person.
It's funny that we're eating a kind of a beef stew. What's the official name of it?
Vegetable
Italian-
Italian vegetable beef stew.
when it's 95 degrees outside. This is
know.
probably more of a winter.
It was supposed to be storming out. So I wanted something I could make inside. The storm didn't come, so I'm gonna taste it.
Okay,
Okay.
we're coming over here. Beth is going for a taste.
Let's see. Let's grab a mushroom.
You
Boy,
better-
you're not wrong. It is.
You better blow on it because
smoking
you're gonna
hot.
your taste buds will disappear for 3 days. Like you burn those off for 3 days and everything tastes like toast.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the tomato doesn't overpower. The beef broth brings a depth. I know that sounds stupid, but it's true. It's not too tomatoey. I like it a lot. Now for me, I'm definitely gonna want to put more salt in it, or I might instead just add an acid, like squeeze a lemon instead, so they don't put too much sodium in. But remember, other than a little bit of salt and pepper on the beef before I browned it, I haven't put any other salt in this dish, which is what is fantastic. So it's low sodium, woo! Because the beef broth we used was low sodium. I made my own stewed tomatoes with no sodium, and everything else is fresh from the garden.
You can't beat
It's
it.
2 thumbs up for me. I'm really enjoying it. It's
All right.
gonna be awesome.
Well, it's probably gonna be delicious. I'll get to taste it. It just has to
In
cool
2
off for
hours.
about a week. Because I don't like my food hot. I like it kind of room temperature. But
Drives me crazy.
you know what, guys? Thanks for watching, and we will
Be back soon.
see you next time.
See you next time.